welcome to the 13th annual Fort Lauderdale edition of Outshine Film Festival. I'm Jen Kritz, the board vice chair, and we are very excited to have the producer of our Women's Spotlight film, Sweetheart. Please welcome Michelle Antionades.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to us from North London. Yes. Are you loving London? You were mentioning earlier that the weather is actually stunning today.
Well, I wouldn't say stunning, but we have some sunshine. So we'll take that because we rarely have sun. But yeah, no.
Well, you must come and visit us in Fort Lauderdale because we have sunshine almost all year round. So anyway, we're so excited to have your film, and congratulations on the enormous amount of awards you've been snapping up all over the place.
Thank you. We're still quite overwhelmed by it as well. We didn't realize the reception would be so warm to the film, and so yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, your film does a fantastic job of giving the full experience of what it's like to be on vacation with a moody teenager, and which is, by the way, something I'm very familiar with. And you really get into the mindset of this teenager, and it's like life cannot get any worse for this teenager as she sees it, and then she surprisingly falls in love, and the whole thing shifts. It was written and directed by Marley Morrison. Michelle, you've worked together with Marley on some shorts, Sticks and Stones, Baby Gravy. Tell me, how did you meet Marley?
So we were actually introduced through a friend who's an actress who I've worked with before. And she just kind of introduced us, and we met up in a coffee shop one day, and Marley she'd already written the script to Sticks and Stones, and she was about to cast it, and she said, do you want to jump on board? And that was the first short that we'd made together, and we've just not stopped working ever since. And we made 2 shorts after that. The last one was Baby Gravy with Sophia DiMartino as well. And then soon after that, we got commissioned to make the feature film, which is Sweetheart. So it's been a nice journey so far.
So you guys have been quite a team then.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Tell me about your interest in doing this project, Sweetheart. What drew you in?
So we actually got commissioned with a completely different script, and it was a road movie, which we kind of later realized was going to be impossible to do on the budget that we were given, because we were part of a filmmaking scheme for emerging filmmakers called the Film London Microwave Scheme, where you're challenged to make your first feature for £150,000. Which is nothing. But also the story, Marley didn't feel like that was the story she should be telling. And then we spent a lot of time in development, just talking through different ideas, trying to make it more personal. And then suddenly Marley kind of produced a script for Sweetheart. And it was, it's inspired by a lot of John Hughes films, a lot of coming of age themes, and I could just see that what this message that she wanted to put forward was really coming out in this film, and that was that she wanted to have a young butch lesbian be, a lead in her own story, and an uplifting story as well, one that wasn't rooted in trauma, one that where the lesbian character wasn't sidelined, or the funny sidekick, or and just everything kind of came together at the right time with the right story that she wanted to tell.
I love the family dynamics, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the casting of that. But first, it's very interesting to me that the coming out part is not even part of it. It's already understood. The family knows she's gay and accepts that she's gay, and is actually, while they go through their own versions of what it's like to be in a family, there doesn't seem to be any judgment on that particular note. Was that something that was very specific to you and Marley in putting this together?
Yes, Marley did not want to make a coming out movie. It wasn't about her coming out. It was what happened after. because I think, but whether you're gay or bi or anything in between, there's no one, you don't just come out once, it's, you have to come at different times to different family members and different people, and it's kind of it's how you navigate, or AJ navigates that as a young lesbian. And as you say, her family are very accepting. I think their biggest issue is her attitude, because she's just a moody teenager. So yeah, it was really important to make it about her falling in love, and not about, the process of coming out.
Tell us about casting Nell Barlow as AJ. You can't imagine anyone else doing that role.
No, and it was just her from the start. We saw about 150 tapes of young actresses, and they were all brilliant, and they all brought their own interpretation of the character. But when we saw Nell, there was just something about her. She did 2 takes for us actually, and in her second take, she kind of lit herself with, where she looked at like this very Joan of Arc-esque, is how Marley describes it. And yeah, she just has this authenticity, this rawness to her. We specifically wanted someone who hadn't really done that much before, so we kind of get that innocence and that rawness of the character, and it was really important to convey how awkward AJ is, and for the audience to relate to that teenage awkwardness that we've all gone through.
Well, it's not just the teenage awkwardness. I think it's also being gay and a teenager. That's even, I mean, when you look at the way all the straight girls dress, all the straight girls go to the beach and what they wear, and like the choice of attire that AJ has made part of her character, but yet it seems to be more, this also coming and into yourself and realizing who you are. And I think it's very, very relatable for a lot of women, a lot of gay women to watch. Tell us also about finding the rest of the cast, particularly Jo Hartley, who plays the mom.
Oh, Jo, we just didn't get to it. It was very tight. It was all about timing. She was filming Afterlife with Ricky Gervais, kind of at the same time, so we overlapped a little bit, and she went back and forth between London and Dorset, which is where we were on the south coast of England. But Jo was amazing. We sent her the script, and she loved it immediately. And I think the fact that drew her in was the mum was not just a background character. Tina has her own story, her own arc. She is very, very important to the thread of the story and what's happening to AJ. And so we got on really well. We met for coffee, and we talked about it. We talked about how she wanted Tina to come across, and then luckily we managed to make it work. And she came and stayed with us on the holiday park for a couple of weeks as well, which was fun.
And tell me about Samuel Anderson playing Steve. I mean, what a little bit of the writing as well of that, and what you guys decided in how to portray him, and how he really is her confidant and her cheerleader in a way.
Yeah, Samuel Anderson is wonderful, and as sweet as you could imagine a person. He's just like Steve. He's very caring, very lovely. And it was really important for Steve to be a strong male character in AJ's life, because we don't see the dad at all. We only hear little snippets, and he's not important to the story. It's it's about these 3 generations of women, and how they interact with each other at this difficult time. And I think Steve's character being there as someone who supports AJ no matter what, and he talks to her openly, and it was really important to have that there. And Samuel just plays him so beautifully as well. He's everyone's favorite, is Steve.
You touched earlier on the challenge of doing this for 150,000 pounds. Did you actually accomplish all of that, Michelle, in 150,000 pounds?
Yeah, it was a capped budget as well, so you weren't allowed to go over that amount. So it was a real challenge, shall we say. There was a lot of thriftiness. But we were really lucky that people related to the script and the story, and they just really wanted to be involved. And we got lots of favors from kit companies, and we did pay all our crew and cast. I knew from previous short films as well that I would need to save the majority of the money for post-production, because something always comes up in post-production, which we actually ended up finishing during the pandemic. And then luckily I did, because otherwise we wouldn't have been able to get this amazing soundtrack that we've got to the film as well. And so we were able to just make sure that we kind of put everything together for this tiny little amount.
And I think, by the way, that's so impressive. And I hear this time and time again in talking to filmmakers that they never put enough money away for post. So you're so smart to have done that, because that's a lot of times what takes these films like years and years to make, is they go back to the fundraising board and start putting that together. Michelle, what do you hope that the audience will take away? Like, what is your main goal for us to be talking about after watching Sweetheart?
I mean, our main goal when we started making films together was, just to increase the visibility of queer stories on screen and having them as lead characters. And we just hope that people enjoy it, really. And, we hope that they feel uplifted. And it's, it's an authentic queer story that brings a lot of joy and colour, and hope that you relate to it, whether you relate to AJ or Isla or Tina or Nathan. I think we hope that there's something in there for everyone.
Well, you truly are a sweetheart. In just speaking with you today, I assume that's how they named the film, based on your personality. And we just love the film, and we're so happy to be honored to show it at our festival. Thank you so much, Michelle. And really, I hope that you guys will come visit us in Fort Lauderdale and Miami sometime, and we'd love to invite you to our festival.
Absolutely. Yes, next time we'll be there for sure. And thank you so much for selecting us as well as part of your 2021 edition. We're really, really happy.
Thank you so much. We're going to end with the trailer. And again, make sure that you check out Sweetheart, playing now at Outshine Fort Lauderdale edition. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, cows! You do realise that the breeding of cows is like the #1 cause of deforestation?
What? I don't like the spelling of your name.
Right, I'm gonna go and check us in. Are you coming?
Why do you guys all just look the same?
What's the Wi-Fi code?
There isn't any Wi-Fi.
I was perfectly fine at home, but Mum insisted.
You spend all your money.
Where's my dead Jesus jumper?
You can be gay and,
Here we go.
look like a girl.
Why can't I just do what I want to do?
Because it changes every 5 minutes. That's why. Like your hair?
Like normal.
Thanks. I'm Isla, by the way.
AJ. They all look so happy, like they exist in some parallel universe.
What is wrong with you?
I'm 17, everything's wrong with me.
I've never seen anyone wear so many clothes to the beach.
Girls like you always have boyfriends.
Girls like me.
Why can't you just say it? Say what?
AJ, please. AJ. AJ, wait!
I knew you'd ruin this holiday for everyone. You always do.
Life is not fun all the time.
I like you a lot.
This is your holiday too, You're allowed to enjoy yourself.
Sometimes I have no idea who I am.
That's the thing about being on holiday. You get to be whoever you want to be.
All I know is things are different now.
What's the plan and what are you thinking of doing?
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
There's a charity out there you can volunteer, you knit jumpers for elephants.